Cyprus is sending Andromache with Ella to Eurovision 2022. But does it take us on an hell of a ride? That feels like an hell of a day pun. I don't know why.
Hell of a day, hell of a ride. Either way.
Hell of a ride, yeah. Right. Let's review Eurovision. So yes, Cyprus is sending Ella to Eurovision this year. Obviously, last year they sent El Diablo, which opened the final. It was an absolute bop, in my humble opinion. And they're back with another sexy female performance. Jack, what do you make of it?
So I'm going to talk slightly on behalf of James here as well, because he's not here today. He clearly quite likes it. You'll see his ranking at the very, very end. So he's a big, big fan. Personally, I think it's good. I appreciate that Cyprus has not gone for the sort of the bop, the ethnic bop that they've done the past few years, because it was getting a little bit repetitive. You know, the Fuego was incredible. They realized something was good with that. They did the very, very similar thing that wasn't quite as good with Replay. Similar again-ish with El Diablo. You know, 3 strikes and you're out now. Pick something different. And they have with this, which I appreciate. I think it's interesting and it's an enjoyable listen. Admittedly, it took me some time to get into it. It took me a few days before I sort of felt like I got it. And it was actually only on a really sunny day that I sort of, I don't know, it was like nice weather. It sort of felt nice and vibe. I loved it. It's not up to the same level. Excuse me. It's not on my throat. It's not quite up to the level of what Cyprus has sent in the past few years, in my opinion. It's nice, it's good, but there is, and this is something that it's a divisive opinion that I've seen quite a lot on social media, and some people fully agree with it, some people slap it down. I do get slight Greece 2010 vibes with it, where it's nice, it's mostly in Greek, it's very from that part of the world, it clearly is from there, but there's just something that will get between its performance and its ability to do well. And I think this is more of a likely qualifier than Greece 2018. I was not a fan of that. I knew from the first listen it was never going to qualify. This has a shot because the song is better, but I will also not be surprised if it doesn't. And we'll get onto that in a little bit. But it's nice. It's good from Cyprus, not quite up to the standard they have been sending now.
Interesting, a bit of a mix there. I think I'm more inclined to agree with James on this one. This is one of my favorite entries of the year. We know I have a soft spot for kind of Oriental, Middle Eastern vibes at Eurovision. You know, Every Way That I Can is one of my all-time favorite. And for me, like, this is kind of like easing into that kind of ilk of, like, you know, some of the instruments that are used in it. I'm so glad that Cyprus have actually sent a song in Greek, because I don't feel like they've done that for a good few years now, and I'm glad that they're actually kind of leaning into that a bit, because I think, you know, if a country consistently sends English songs, it's kind of like, you know, what are you really doing? And so for me, there's a lovely little Oriental vibes through there, and yeah, I think they're onto it. They've got a solid entry. I think it's probably not my favorite Cypriot entry ever, but out of the past few years, it's probably on a par for me with El Diablo, but just because some of the songs this year aren't as high quality, I think, as last year. It probably does slightly better in my rankings than it would have done if it had been like Cyprus's entry last year, for example. But yeah, with that in mind, do we think it's making it to the final? And where have we put it personally, Jack?
So in my personal ranking, it is number 14 this year. So it's still doing pretty well. It's up there. Do I think it'll qualify? It's to go back to what I was saying before. I'm inclined to say yes, but at the same time, I will not be surprised if it doesn't, because there's just something about it that I think people won't really clock onto. I think there'll be a general appreciation for it, but will that many people and will that many jury members actually sort of like actually vote for it? Will it be high in many people's rankings? I know it's high in yours, as we'll see, and in James's, but I just don't think people will back it. And I think, to go to another point that I was going to say before, I was in Greece a few weeks ago on holiday, and obviously this is a song that's in Greek. I listened to the Greek song while I was out there. watch the Greece video, you'll hear my comments on it. But I also, I really understood the Greek song while being out there. I sort of became one with it. I loved it. I tried the same with this. And even while I was out there, in the vibe and the ilk of this sort of music, this still didn't completely click with me. And I think maybe that's part of the issue. It's very nice. It's good. Is it good enough that that many people will vote for it to put it through to the final? Remains to be seen. So it should go through. Wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't.
Interesting. Yeah, so for me, I'm obviously a big fan of this one. It's my number 2 for the year, actually. Maybe on reflection, I'd probably nudge it down a little bit, but I think my top 4 were very kind of all compact, and they were all kind of fairly interchangeable. So maybe on reflection, it'd be a little bit lower, but really like still top 5 for me. I think this probably will be fine in terms of getting to the final, because I do think we don't kind of have that kind of Oriental vibe as much this year in Eurovision. So I think it'll probably stand out in that term. I know we're not meant to be bringing in the rehearsals into our opinions, but I was worried, kind of the way that she sings, her kind of tone of voice, I was worried that it could be a disaster if it was live, but I don't think that was really distracting.
Sorry, a cat. I don't have a cat, and a cat almost walked into my door. What the fuck? Sorry, carry on.
Lost my trail of thought. That right. No, the point was, yeah, in terms of her kind of tone of voice is quite interesting, and I was terrified that it could sound potentially dreadful live, but from the rehearsals, I that doesn't seem to be an issue. Yes, sorry, I know I won't bring the rehearsals into all of my next opinions, but yes, that's what we thought. Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel as well, and we'll see you next time.